This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis.
Why so sad?
Well, it's another one of those weeks where we talk about everyone's favorite MOBA style battle game.
And by talk, we mean we have nothing.
A little show about League of Legends. It's an ongoing show. We took a little bit about everyone's favorite MOBA style battle game. We've got some things to talk about this week. Not a whole lot, unfortunately, but there is a few things that we can go over. A lot of big stuff going down on the PBE right now.
None of it final.
All of it's kind of shaky. So we can kind of give you the gist of it, but again, it's all up in the air, so this can't really be taken as the brass tacks. A little bit more information regarding the upcoming preseason and season 4, based on what Red Posts have told us, and that's really it, guys. I mean, there's some stuff about
A visual update for Gnosis, about a few others.
Popstar Ahri,
Popstar. I can't wait until we talk about that.
but yeah, it's just moving right along. So PBE right now. They've got the new trinket system set up, and they've got new icons for it. You can dink around with those, take a look at them.
What's interesting is it takes like a 7th slot on your inventory menu. So it's just kind of there. I wonder if you can just move it between your slots.
It's possible, but again, this is just the first iteration of it. I imagine it'll get tinkered with in the coming days. We've got icons for each one, as well as some level up icons for, I believe, the ward and then the scanning one. So we'll have to see how those go in terms of level ups and their strengths and weaknesses based on the level. Also on the PBE, there are a bunch of changes, mostly quality of life stuff, balance changes as well. They're just sort of tinkering around with champions, trying to make them work, trying to get them to work with the new systems that are going to be coming out, not necessarily that have come out. So it'll be interesting to see how they flesh together when the final system is released. It's anyone's guess at this point what's going to be balanced, what's going to be overpowered, and what needs to change. So I think they're just trying to play conservative while being ready for the stuff to come.
Yeah, they're kind of putting out all the small stuff, seeing how that works before they pull in the big stuff. Because once the big stuff comes in, well, that smaller stuff is going to be put on the back burner.
Yeah, I mean, just changes to masteries alone is going to throw champion balance into just a danger zone.
Yeah, there is a, not an official list, but kind of what they have right now. We're not going to go through the full thing. We're going to kind of talk about, each tree.
Indeed. You can find all the full list posted by Feral Pony on the general forums, or you can find it on our nice, friendly friends website at surrenderat20.net. The tree for each one is kind of interesting. Kind of how it was last season. There are only a few talents in the offense tree that are really diverse enough for you to say, hey, I want to do this. I mean, there's a lot of obvious picks for AP and AD, but there's no real decision making. You either do one way or the other.
They're kind of adding some fun spells in there.
Well, they're adding more fun things, but it's still for the majority of your points. They're either going to go one way or the other, no matter... if you're AP or you're AD, there's no real difficult choices you have to make.
Yeah, because there's things like double-edged sword, which increases melee damage. Range isn't going to use that.
But it goes into blade weaving, I believe.
It's kind of one of those things. But it says melee damage deals this amount, and then range damage does this amount. So
Well,
that's
2% more damage just flat. So that affects your spells as well.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, it's just kind of the way it was worded. It's weird.
So Katarina's going to have a good time with that one.
Feast. I really like this one. If we're going to talk about any one of them, it's just kind of interesting. Each time you kill a minion, restore 2 health and 1 mana. Not it just kind of adds to Swain's ability, or
it just gives you some really sustain. Maybe complements your Dorans particularly well. Defense is changing a little bit. It's nothing crazy. I mean, there are some cool ones in there. Runic Shield is definitely very interesting. Second Wind is definitely cool. There are some things in particular, like Perseverance, that are going to be really, really powerful. But, I don't know. The defense tree was always the good one in terms of having to make hard choices. And they're keeping it that way. But they're making a lot of cooler stuff at lower tiers, so you can get a lot more out of it if you want to focus on lower tiers rather than the
Mid
tenacity
lane,
stuff.
yeah.
And then utility, I don't know. I mean, they moved a lot of the really good stuff in utility closer to the top, like they did, every season. They say, "Oh, let's just move this up to the top," and then they put even crummier stuff towards the bottom. They did put the movement speed back at the bottom, which is the one interesting thing. You can get 1.5% movement speed flat in first tier, which is probably the biggest change. But people are going to go crazy for that.
Yeah, Wanderer, though, is at the very bottom now, where it's just 5% out of combat movement speed. Which, I don't know, for utility, I think that should be better for both,
No, it's better for supports getting back to lane, since they got to be out and about warding and things like that.
I thought there would just kind of be something a little bit
There's
cooler
some
at the bottom.
I know, but there's some cooler things spliced to the center, like the talent that buffs your potions and stuff is really cool.
Yeah, that one's really nice. I like how it's kind of, adjusting ways some more items are working depending on, how you spec.
Yeah, and they made the pickpocket into bandit, which is a little bit more interesting. It incentivizes you to hit a lot of targets, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I was really a big fan of pickpocket. So.
It's definitely fun. And inspiration is very cool. But we'll have to see how these change. We'll have to see if they're final. We'll have to see how they affect in game. Definitely take a look at them, guys. It's worth just getting interested in the ideas. But keep posted, look for it, and be interested, etc.
You know what I was kind of thinking of?
What?
If you maxed out a tree, I know this kind of sounds like, forcing people to diversify into a tree. It might unlock or put a majority of your points areas in one of the 3 trees. You get to use a utility item, that can unlock in the shop, a utility item. If you unlock it, it will do a certain thing, help the player out.
I kind of like that idea.
But the thing is, though, you don't want to lock out items depending on your tree.
It might be interesting to have certain items that are affected by your choice of mastery.
Yeah, that would work too.
So, if you have, let's say something that a lot of people get, boots. You have utility boots. You have, just like base boots, I'm talking here. Or you get something like Philly Stone. There's utility Philly Stone, offense Philly Stone, defense Philly Stone.
Or maybe just an item that just, depending on which spec it is, does something different.
Yeah, it might be interesting to be able to diversify your character or get some new stuff that maybe builds on your masteries or improves some of their effects. Like you have maybe a Warmogs that is defense alignment, so it increases the strength that you get from the runic shield, for example. So that way that 50 damage shield is great in early game. Late game doesn't really do anything, but if you buff it up with one of your items, all of a sudden it's 150 damage.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
That would be awesome. It's just giving more play between the actual game and then this just normal stats.
Because that's the thing that League has over a lot of other MOBAs, is it has this out of game effect to it. So if you can build on that, people would certainly appreciate it.
In other news, they're kind of talking about what they're going to do with supports. They've been saying that they're kind of retweaking a few things. Again, this isn't up in the air. The one that I noticed is they're kind of toning down Leona a bit more with her magic resist and bonuses, but it grants 20% more armor depending on, when she activates it. So it's kind of a hit or miss buff for her, depending on if you build more armor or if you're going to build more, utility items. So it's one of those things where it's some people will hate it, some people will like it. I think it's going to be nice because I build Leona more tanky, so that makes me happy. Tarek's passive is getting changed. They want to take away the every attack he gains mana to every time he casts a spell he gets activated on. So I'm not too thrilled about this one. They just keep changing his passive to become less and less useful for him. So what can you do?
Yeah, they're talking about changing a lot of supports, and the full list again can be found on the Red Post. This is all stuff that they're not sure about. This is stuff that they're tentative about, so it's really hard for us to say, these are the solid brass tacks to it, but it's compelling. They're putting a lot of thought into it. So Season 4 is going to be crazy.
Season 4 can either really bring a lot of people back into the game or force more people out like Season 3 did.
Yeah. I'm curious, I've been really kind of sketchy with League lately. I've been keeping up on it. I've been playing a few games, but not nearly as much as I used to because of Season 3. So I'm hoping Season 4 really has that hook that I need to get back into it.
Speaking of hooks, Popstar Ahri.
Ugh.
Oh, man. The particle effects are kind of nifty, but
Fan service.
It is fan service. It's playing towards that pop idol sensation in Japan.
They're like, oh, people love Jinx because we did an anime thing. Let's just make it an anime game. Let's just do it.
I like Jinx because of her kind of like quirkiness and kind of like the mystery towards why she's nuts.
Manic Pixie.
Dream Girl.
Ugh.
But with this Ahri one, it's too pink, too colorful. The particle effects on it aren't really enough to keep me, say, liking it. If not,
right. It's not my taste, so I can't say it's wrong. It's totally not my bag. I mean, I didn't complain when Broloff came out, so I guess I can't complain about this too much. But still, it
just doesn't fit.
I didn't like Weather Girl Jen. I don't like this one. It's just pandering. I don't dig it. I don't dig it.
In other news, they're talking about some other people that might be up for consideration for visual updates. And Caitlyn was one of them. They want to give her more of a Jace-esque feeling, a lot more power to her gun, not just kind of like, it feels like a little kickback to it, like every shot.
Yeah, because it's kind of sniper rifle.
Yeah. It just feels like tink, tink, tink instead of dush, 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 and they want to kind of give that feeling that Jace does.
When you fire,
I kind of, if she has a sniper rifle, that'd be like with a suppressor on. It's not, but this thing's like it's hex tech. It's supposed to be loud. It's supposed to be obnoxious, and it's supposed to hurt. Yeah. So it doesn't give any of that.
Even
recoil.
her ult, and you're like, is she firing a laser gun?
You know what would be interesting is if when she ults, since she has to stop there should be an animation where her gun like gets like a very larger extended what is it, magazine to it? Or not magazine, barrel. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm gun nut here versus me. But like she like goes down onto the ground, it just extends out, and then just a giant bullet shoots out of it.
The bullet bill with little arms.
Chasing them down. Gonna get you.
And then if someone get knocked up over it and they land on it, it just kills it and they get 1,000 points.
1,000 gold just straight up just... Alistair!
I got him!
I got him!
Oh, God, we're nerds. Yeah, not a whole lot else to talk about. Like I said, it's all up in the air. PBE stuff, Red Post stuff.
More on Susan's visual update.
Stuff you gotta read about, guys. Like I said, go check the general discussion. It's all sticky. You can go to Surrender at 20 as well. It's all there. It's tentative. And we're speculating about it. We might put something together, a little dossier for you guys, but we'll see. Otherwise, stay interested. We're going to move on to our own section here. Our first question this week comes from the always faithful Master 12. He says, with all of the changes Writers announced for Preseason 4, which changes have you guys liked the most? And which ones have you disliked the most?
Trinket System's probably my favorite so far. It gives us kind of a new aspect to think about, entering a game opposed to planning everything out with the wards and all that stuff. The whole ward system being changed to give us more, dark zones on the map is always a great thing, because always knowing where every opponent is becomes a stalemate, and even if you're playing or watching, it's just a lot of, okay, who can catch the first person out? While giving you the advantage of darkness is a lot better, limiting wards, limiting all that stuff, giving you ability to have ward destruction, fantastic.
I like the jungle changes so far. Those are my favorite. The new camp they're putting in is going to enable a lot of the kind of farm-heavy junglers I like to play to really accelerate. And the changes to brush that they're doing in jungle is really going to make it less difficult to really sort of turbo gank people in the jungle, and also make fights in the jungle a little bit more fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Dislike the most? How about you?
What I dislike the most is, while some of the changes to support is going to be great, I just don't like the way they're kind of retooling some characters to kind of lessen their roles, Tarek especially. But that's one thing that's not tentative yet, so I can't really complain about it.
The thing I dislike the most right now is, we actually talked about this a little bit before, they're still not really doing anything revolutionary with the mastery system. Barring defensive tree, there's nothing really too crazy here that we haven't seen, other than a few interesting points here and there. They are moving in the right direction. And might be things that they release in the future that I dislike more. Fingers crossed. I do like to rant. But at the moment, I just wish they had. It's a cool thing that no one else has. They can do things with it, and they're not doing it.
Same with runes. Why aren't they doing more with runes? I would like to see maybe
proc runes.
Yeah,
we've talked about this for years.
You have this functionality in the game that already exists. It's been in since the beginning of the game, and it hasn't been touched very much. Yeah, you added new runes every now and again, and it's something that nowadays people pretty much have every single rune that they can swap back and forth.
They could do champion-specific runes. Be like
faction-specific. You can have maybe even like these like amulet things where you can put 3 sockets in there, and if the same color matches, then special benefits.
You have runes of the Demacian Defender. You get armor and move speed, things like that. There's
particle. Give us maybe have runes that give us particle effects. They're expensive ones, but that could be fun too. Like, okay, in this set, all my spells will have like a goofy sound effect or something. Like Dota 2 has that with the announcer system. Let us customize our UI a bit, or let us customize the character besides the skins. Skins are great. I love them. They're a little bit more high definition than like a Dota kit you can a full set you can make, but let us customize that a bit with like different colored particle effects or something like that come out for the server.
There's cool things they could do, and I don't know, the game is starting to show its age. With the map and some of the champions, they're rushing these visual updates out, but they can do more.
They're trying, but they're not trying in the right direction.
Indeed. Next question comes from Tesutso. Butchered that one. Did you upload the video of you guys one-shotting Lux? I would like to see this. This is in reference to the crit Gnosis we were talking about last episode. Did we?
You sent it to me. I think I got it to work, and we had it in one of the videos. It's just
I'll look for it. I don't have
the email still if you send it to me. But the problem is now the low replay won't read it because it's older.
So we'll see if we actually got it up, and we can send that a link to you in the comments here below.
Yeah. And finally, thanks to Derp0Derp for letting us know what was up with the Ahri bug last week. Very appreciated. No one else let me know about that. Couldn't find it anywhere. So glad to know that it was a bug where the tip of the sphere would deal true damage twice, making it deal significant more damage. Very interesting. I'm glad to know that was going on because I didn't know.
Well, there you go. And that's it for questions and feedback this week, guys. We love questions. We try to answer at least 2 every week. If you have a question for us about the show, about League of Legends, about gaming in general, about us, about anything really, we're happy to answer. We try to get at least 2 every week. You can post it in the comment section below. Send it to our email at spestagaming@gmail.com, or post it on our Facebook page, and we'll see if we can take a look. Otherwise, what else have we got?
Come check us out. We're doing more Hex videos here. Axis actually joined us for a couple of games. We have those recorded. A lot of fun. A lot of goofiness. We're going to try to get a few more games out here. If recording persists, but sometimes we've had some bad graphical error problems and just not a lot of good recording games.
Rage. Lots of rage.
Yeah.
How did I draw 6 blue? How did I draw 6 Saspire mana?
I titled that episode The Worst Game Ever.
The worst hand.
But anyways, this has been Water Elemental.
It's been Axis. And
BlizzCon this weekend. I can't wait for Blink 182.
I can.